and subtracting fractions. Now, adding and subtracting fractions, the most common way to teach this concept is to go ahead and use a common denominator. And that's the way I'm going to go through it today. The other important thing to realize, though, is that you need to check your answers, as always, using benchmarks, as we already talked about. So, now, if the two fractions have common denominators, or three fractions have common denominators, then it's great. All you do is you keep the common denominator here, here, and here. Remember, the common denominator is just eighths. So we're going to keep the common denominator here, so we're just going to go ahead and right now it's going to be eighths. Then we just add the numerators. So the numerator in this case here is going to be, well, let's see here. What is the numerator? It's going to be 1 plus 2. So our answer is just going to be 3 eighths. Easy. I bet you can already guess what this is going to be. So 5 eighths plus 5 eighths, it's going to be eighths as the denominator. And then up on the top, it's going to be 10 eighths. Now, that's an improper fraction, and we should change that. Instead of it being 10 eighths, we're going to change it to being 1 full 1 and 2 eighths. Even that is not as great as it could be. And I'm going to change to green here. So that there is not simplified, so we're going to change it to 1. Remember what goes in the top and bottom of that fraction? 2 does, so we divide the top by 2 and the bottom by 2, we end up with 1 1/4. Same thing here. The numerators are different, the denominators are the same. So what we do, we go over here and we just start by naming our denominator. Our denominator in this case is going to be, as with the other ones, eighths. 7 minus 1, 6. And then we simplify 3 over 4, because 2 goes into there and 2 goes into there. Now, if the fractions have a different denominators, then you have to find the lowest common denominator, which also is the least common multiple, remember, for that. So here, what's the least common multiple of 2 and 4? That's going to be fourths. So what's 1/2 when we change 1/2 into fourths? We're going to have a total of 2 fourths, because remember, when we multiply the bottom by 2, we got to multiply the top by 2. So 2 fourths minus 1/4 is going to be equal to, we got a common denominator now, so it's just going to be equal to 1/4. Now again, really important here, we're going to check these answers over at the end to make sure that they all make sense. But 2 fourths minus 1/4, yeah, that makes sense there. 3 tenths plus 7 twelfths. If I wanted to, I could go ahead and go through the method of figuring out the least common multiple, which would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and then 12, 12, 24, 36, 48, 60. So I then would realize, well, hey, 60ths are my common denominator. My least common multiple, my lowest common denominator. So if I multiply this bottom, if I change this 10 to a 60, I have to multiply by 6. So I have to multiply the top by 6 as well. So there's 3 of them, so that's not going to be 18 60ths. And here I multiply the bottom by 5, and now 5 times 7 is going to be 35. So now I'm going to end up with 60ths. 18 plus 35, that's going to be 53 60ths. One of the great things about common denominators is if you go ahead and do it the right way, then you won't have to simplify as much when you get to the end here. 8/9 and 10/11. In this case here, what's the lowest common denominator? There's a trick here, because if you look here, these are both prime number, or this is a prime number, so you know nothing goes into it but itself and 1. So you know that, well, it just has to be 99, because nothing goes into, 11 doesn't go into 9, and so it has to be 99 is going to be the least common multiple. So we now have 99, and you should really make sure to use a lot of paper as necessary to show your work, because you're less likely to make careless errors if you do. So that's going to be 99s because we multiplied the bottom by 11, the top by 11 here. Multiply the bottom by 9, top by 9. We're going to end up with 90 99s. Add them together, we get 178 99s. And I can't even do this in my head. Well, yeah, I can. Actually, it's pretty easy if I think about it logically. This is going to be one full piece, because I got 99. And, well, if I take away 99 from here, it's almost like taking away 100, but not quite. I'm going to actually have 79 left over. Because I had, or actually, yeah, 79 left over, because if I take 79, if I take 99 away from 178, I end up with 79. And there, done.